And the reason we have used this formula because it follows through every step. As a true herbalist, we're supposed to use. Number one, there is not one herb in that formula that is toxic. Number two, there is not one herb in that whole formula that is poisonous, because we do not use poison herbs. And number three, there is not one herb that is habit-forming. You know, the habit-forming herbs are the ones that we have to be careful of, because we do have herbal laxatives that are habit-forming. We do have many things that are habit-forming. Well, I should know. Great balls of fire. None of you will ever have to take Phenamint or X-Lax, Epsom salts, castor oil. You won't have to take any herbal formulas for laxatives at all, because I use enough for all of you. We have a formula here that is good enough that we've had so many people enthralled with it. We had a Jewish fellow, I have to tell you about him. He was an interesting soul. He and his girlfriend had been coming 3 years to our classes. We have a series of weekly classes we used to have that we would have preliminary herbs and advanced herbs, and then we'd have iridology and reflexology and on through the whole list. And they had come to learn about our holistic program and holistic means, where we can help people without doing them any harm, no damage. Because they wanted to learn about taking these formulas and programs back to Israel. They were going back there, and they wanted to go back there and practice. He said, you know, I'm kind of confused with this program of yours. And I said, why are you confused? Well, he said, I've been with you now, this is early in this program, 11 months. And when I first started in your program, I was so badly constipated. He said I would have one small bowel movement a day, some days. But he said I ate like a horse. He said I would eat 3 or 4 times as much as most people. And then in between meals, I was always hungry and I was always snacking. And I could never get satisfied. And not much energy. Well, he says, I've been on this thing for 11 months. I eat less than 1/3 of what I used to eat. Less than 1/3. But he said, I'm having from 5 to 7 immense bowel movements a day, where I used to have one little one with eating 3 or 4 times more food. I can't figure this out. Well, I said, being of your nationality, you know nothing to worry about, because if you're getting something for nothing. And he said, oh, come on, cut it out. Tell me what's happening, what's actually happening. Well, here we have the bowel, and I drew him a picture of how that it accumulates toxic poison. It accumulates waste material and layer upon layer of paste, which is our white flour products and et cetera, Twinkies, and a layer of that and a layer of fecal matter and another layer of fecal matter. When you cut that descending colon in two in autopsy, it looks like an old tree cut in two. And I said, what we're doing is softening up the middle part. And the more liquid, because he was with the rest of them, he used a gallon of steam distilled water a day plus the formulas. I said, what you're taking out in 1/8 of an inch is what is accumulated in there and impacted in there in weeks and weeks. And I said, you've got 40 years stacked in there. We do recommend storing food for bad times, but not in your bowel. Well, he began to get the picture. And he had more pep and energy than he'd ever known before in his life. It was not habit forming, because everyone that comes to us as patients go on our basics, which are, number one, as we have mentioned before, a gallon of steam distilled water a day. Number two, clean out the bowel. Number three, clean up the bloodstream. This is extremely important, but they must go on the 3-day cleanse every 30 days.